Once upon a time in southern Africa, there were two countries who thought maybe they could pool their resources and help each other out. These countries were South Africa and Lesotho. And what they did was the Lesotho Highland Water Project. Now, make sure you understand that Lesotho is not in South Africa. Oh, no, 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 no. This whole area is known as Southern Africa. And Lesotho is one country and South Africa is another country.
Lesotho is here. Lesotho was very, very, very lucky. They had lots and lots and lots of mountains. Now, because they had lots and lots of mountains, it rained a lot. And as it rained a lot, they were really, really lucky. They got so much water, they had a water surplus. But unfortunately, South Africa, it didn't rain that much. It was quite flat around here. And because it didn't rain that much, they had a water deficit. This was made worse by the fact that South Africa has lots and lots of people. It's got quite a high population, whereas Lesotho doesn't have that many people. So, what could these two countries do to help out each other? Let me think. They had an idea, and Lesotho was like, oh, wait a second, we are quite poor, but we've got lots and lots of water. And South Africa were like, oh, do you know what? We've actually got a lot of money, but we don't have much water. So some clever person came up with this great idea that actually they could swap the money for the water. However,
Lesotho has a GDP per capita, so all the money in the country divided by the population of US dollars 916 per year, whereas South Africa has a GDP per capita of US dollars 6,377. We can therefore say that Lesotho is a low-income country and South Africa is a newly emerging economy, which means that South Africa is richer than Lesotho. So construction began and they built some dams across the rivers in Lesotho. This meant that behind the dams they could have some reservoirs. This is what a dam looks like. So this is the dam and this is the reservoir. They would then have the pipes coming from the dam and they would be transported across to South Africa. So as well as reservoirs and dams and pipes, they also had to build roads and bridges. So there was a lot of construction that went into the project, and all this water went to a big dam in South Africa, which also had a reservoir, so they could then store their water and then channel it to the places that needed it most. They could also use the dam for hydroelectricity, which is where they use the power of the water going through the dam to create energy. This is what we call a renewable type of energy.
So South Africa, they have done all right with it as well. Now, you imagine there's people living here and they were really, really, really thirsty. And now they've got water. So there's an area, they've now got fresh water to an area that had droughts. There's also the Vaal Dam here, and there's basically in South Africa they also had a dam, and that dam used to be quite acidic because of the high levels of evaporation, and now it has fresh water. So there's the fresh water reduces the acidity, which makes it better for people to drink. And the fresh water to an area that had droughts. Now, the population that an extra 10% of the population now are happy because they get water. However, not everything is so rosy. As previously said, the costs are likely to reach a staggering US $4 billion. Now, South Africa is a newly emerging economy. So whilst it has money, this is still a lot of money for the South Africans. Also, staggeringly, the water that comes out into South Africa, 40% of it is lost through leakages. So 40% of it is lost through leakages. So if we can draw that, let's say that's all the water that they had. Nearly that much is lost through leakages. And finally, corruption is all over the whole.
So the three main disadvantages were it was really expensive. South Africa is not that rich. There was quite a lot of corruption where people were making deals almost like under the table, and the money wasn't being, and the water wasn't being distributed appropriately. And there was also 40% of water was lost through leakages, which means that there was a lot of wasted money and wasted water. So it's up to you to work out whether you think it's been a failure or a success, and also whether it's been better for South Africa or Lesotho, and to what extent. These are the kind of questions you could see in an exam question. So have a think, find some evidence, and try and draw your own conclusions. Thank you for listening, and good luck.